After the 1973 court ruling in Roe v. Wade that made it a woman's choice to end her pregnancy, came the Hyde Amendment in 1977 that stated there would be no public funding of abortions. If it were a woman's choice to end her pregnancy, she would be responsible for the money needed to make that choice, not the government with taxpayer money. Your fellow Democrats in the Senate, Senator Claire McCaskill and Senator Arlen Specter, had this to say at their own town hall meetings, quote, "There is nothing in the bill that talks about Planned Parenthood. Quote, there is not one dime for abortions. Quote, there is nothing in the bill that mandates any kind of abortion coverage." Since the Hyde Amendment, courts have interpreted the exact language in current health care reform bills as requiring health insurance to cover abortion. I have 2 pages of examples and I'll read a few. The leading case of Planned Parenthood affiliates of Michigan versus Engler, where the Sixth Circuit held that abortion fits within many of the mandatory care categories, including family planning, outpatient services, inpatient services, and physician's services. At least 6 other circuit courts, the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th, and 10th, and I'm talking to a lawyer, so this is good, you're going to understand this, have held that abortion is covered under Medicaid. Some, like the 6th Circuit, have specifically held that abortion is covered under the broad mandatory categories of care, including family planning within Medicaid. The 1st Circuit in Preterm Incorporated versus Dukakis held that abortion is covered by Medicaid and implicitly concluded with the mandatory Medicaid categories, and on and on and on. With this court precedent already said, the health care reform bills as written, even without the word abortion or Planned Parenthood, will mandate abortion coverage. Several key pro-life amendments, you talked about bipartisanship, have been rejected in the House and the Senate, where the inclusion would have ensured that abortion was not funded in these bills. This demonstrates to me that the bills are intended to mandate abortion. No one should be forced to violate their conscience by performing, referring for, paying for, or providing coverage for abortion. The government using my tax dollars to pay for abortion. The latest polls show that over 50% of Americans consider themselves to be pro-life, and 70% of Americans do not think taxpayers should fund the choice of abortion. I'm asking and challenging you to initiate an amendment or support an amendment with wording that will specifically exclude abortion and any broad language that can be interpreted as abortion. Reproductive health care. I have 8 children, but that does not equal abortion, and it should not be on our backs. Now that you've heard my opinion, I would like to ask you my question. Do you agree with me on my opinion on government-funded abortion? And can you back that up with the way you have voted in the past?
I want to thank you for coming here today and for what is obviously a truly heartfelt expression, and I respect all of the things that you've said, and I thank you for saying them. That's just about what I was getting ready to do. Thank you very much. And I'm going to do it at some length. Not quite as long as the statement, but at some length. I can assure you that however imperfectly it may be expressed, the intent, at least in the bill that was processed through our Energy and Commerce Committee, and I can't speak for the others because there are 4 other bills pending, I'm less familiar with them, but of the bill that was processed through our Energy and Commerce Committee, the clear intent was to honor the Hyde Amendment and prohibit any government funds under this measure being used for abortion. And that is the principle I support just as you do. Now, I'll take this one step further. To the extent that we have not done that in a way that is clear, I certainly will support any effort that is made to clarify it further and to make sure that we have the language that is necessary in whatever bill finally is approved and sent to the President that prohibits any funding under the legislation being used for abortions. We need to honor the Hyde Amendment. I have always supported that principle. You talked about my support in the past on this question, and I have supported the principle of the Hyde Amendment. And I continue to do that, and I will take whatever steps are appropriate and necessary to make sure that the Hyde Amendment is honored by this bill and that no funding is expended for abortion. I'm going to call on the gentleman right back here with a bandolier across his shoulder. That would be you.